The table's significantly more cramped for this video, but we'll make it work. I did some more Goodwill shopping once again, and now I have a different box. It's way smaller and on the inside of this slab. So now I've got to get to the middle of this slab to reveal what was already revealed in the title. Here it is. Let's put all this extra packaging away. Alright, now that everything's not cluttered up here anymore, besides, on the edges of the table, here it is. We've got the original MacBook Air. It's the first one. I don't know what the tape's here for. Oh, I know what the tape's here for. There's absolutely no screws on the bottom at all. That might be a little bit of an issue, because if we take that tape off and we just kind of... Yeah, okay. Looks like we still got the original battery in here, so that's nice. It doesn't look like... Is this the hard drive slot? I can't tell. Is there supposed to be something in here? There's just an empty cable here. I can't tell if that's a good sign or not, that there's just kind of an empty cable there. I hope there's a hard drive in here, because I don't think I have one of the tiny MacBook hard drives that are supposed to go with this thing. So let's just kind of put that back on with my tape. Alright, that'll have to do for now. We got some tape barely holding on. It's not even really sticking correctly. But, yeah, I don't have any screws, so that'll have to work. Let's see our port selection on the cool little folding port door. Definitely, like, the best part of this original MacBook Air. I'm also partially lying to you, because this wasn't on the original MacBook Air. But, yeah, we've got our mini display port. We got USB 1 or 2, and our audio jack, so that's nice. On the other side, we got our extremely crammed in MagSafe port, and my charger. I don't have the actual original, like, T-style charger. It does light up orange, that's good. But also, yeah, that's not gonna set down properly, it's just gonna do this. Well, I mean, kind of works, so... Yeah, I don't really trust that. We're gonna have to hold it up with the old NVIDIA GPU. Much better. Okay, let's open this thing up, reveal its secrets, hopefully not any missing keys or something. There it is. The original MacBook Air. Its big silver bezels. Separated power button over here. Full keyboard, isn't missing any keys, so that's good. Interestingly, the original MacBook Airs did have a separated click button. The model right after this had the full modern trackpad design that we see today. So let us turn this thing on. I know there's not going to be anything already on it, so I'm going to have to plug something into the tiny little one USB slot and hope that it'll boot from that. Okay, it's not going to rest sideways on the NVIDIA GPU because it's also got to have the USB, so it's just going to rest on top, and we'll have to hope that that works. Alright, let's turn it on, hold Option. That took concerningly long, okay. Well, that screen's looking pretty bright on my end. Maybe not for the video, but for me at least, the screen's looking pretty bright. The USB is just, the light is just always on. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, because usually it'll flash if it's being read. Okay, well, we waited all that time to get the missing folder icon. Is this keyboard not working? It's supposed to be going into the bootloader. What if I just do my good old-fashioned trick of unplugging and plugging in the USB like 5 times until it starts reading something? Well, now the light's not turning on at all. Okay, I'm just gonna reboot it, but I'm gonna be holding down Option and the USB will not be plugged in. I'll see if that changes anything. This thing is concerningly slow. I don't know if the RAM was swapped out or if the battery's gone so completely flat. The MagSafe light is orange, so it's detecting a battery and it's charging it, but also if there were to be no battery connected or the battery went entirely flat, then it would be extremely slow like it is now. If this doesn't work, I always do have one last resort. The original purpose of the Apple SuperDrive, which I have a very beat up one. I think Apple still sells it today. But the original purpose of this was for the original MacBook Air. If you wanted to play a CD or DVD, then you would get one of these, you would plug it in, and then it would initialize. Let's just see, I'll find a CD that I have. Okay, well here's just a blank CD. Let's just put it into this thing, see if it'll take it, and get it on camera. Alright. You know, I happen to notice that it doesn't want to take in the CD. What it's supposed to be doing is accepting my CD. I wonder if I just turn it off, turn it back on, while the SuperDrive is, you know, initializing, put the CD and see if it'll take it. Might be that this is an older model or a newer model of SuperDrive. Okay, well, it took in the CD that time. It just took a while to initialize. Well, it's making the right noises, so I think that might be my solution here. I think we're just gonna have to boot from a Snow Leopard DVD. I'm gonna have to make one, because I'm not paying that much for an official Snow Leopard DVD. Okay, well that file is too large to put on a whatever DVD I have, so the best I have is more USBs. Alright, first up we have Lion. Okay, well the light on the USB was blinking for a second, so it read something for a little bit. I'm also holding Option and C just to see if it would change anything, force it to start up from USB. Okay, well we just got the folder icon again. Yeah, unplugging and plugging in the USB again just says that it's being read for a second, then it stops. Let's try, while it's on this screen, plugging in a different one. This one just has an actual live installation of Snow Leopard on it. That one's light doesn't even start blinking. Okay. Let's try Mountain Lion. Oh, that one's the light is flickering a bunch. Can't see it because it's just barely off screen, but it's actually... Oh, well that's a little rude. Started flickering a bunch and then it just kind of stopped. And now it's not reading the USB again. Alright, next up, Mavericks. That one's light also doesn't start flickering. Snow Leopard again. Just because. Lion again. Just because. Mountain Lion again, just because it was the only one to almost work. Okay, what is up with this thing? It's not reading any USB. Its main USB reinstaller that came with it was, you know, USB. I've been putting my hands on all the thermal paste on the table. Okay, you know what? Does this thing have recovery mode? I think it might. We can try. Okay, dude, what if I just reset your PRAM? How about that? Would you like that if I just reset PRAM a couple times? Okay, I don't even think it's gonna take a PRAM reset. It's not taking any keyboard combinations, so we might as well test if the battery holds a charge. The battery does not hold a charge. Okay, let's reseat a bunch of cables. Alright, here's our very cool tape that was placed here before. It's useless now. We're just going to take that bottom case off. These cables all look just fine. This, whatever's supposed to be connected in here, it's not connected. I'm assuming it's a hard drive, and that's why it's taking so long, because it's looking for a hard drive, and there just is not a hard drive. The battery in here doesn't really look like it's starting to swell, but, like, you know, I might also need the canned air, just because this fan's looking a little dusty. That's better. Okay, well, I'm just gonna put this back on barely, just for now. Temporary solution. Alright, I took out what I can only assume is the hard drive cable. So let's see if it'll want to boot now. It booted a little faster. Installer USB was flashing for a second. The USB is flashing. It's reading. But is it going to keep reading, or is it going to stop and then give me nothing? There we go. We got it. Okay, cool. It's just, it must have been trying to read something from this cable. Finally. Okay. Well, since that cable I can only assume was the hard drive, there must be no hard drive in here. And since this just so happens to not exactly look like a normal hard drive cable, I'm pretty sure these original ones used the hard drives that the iPod used at the time. I don't really think I can actually install an operating system on here. Best I can do is this USB that has a live Snow Leopard environment. But what I can do from the line installer, if it'll boot, I'm waiting for you, the Apple logo's gone. If it will boot, I can check the specs and see if someone, took out the RAM or something. I think I also have terminal, so I'll be able to look at probably a couple things from there. We got the Apple logo again. Okay, don't boot loop. I wouldn't be very happy about that. But also, it didn't play the chime again. The screen never turned off, so I'm hoping that it's not boot looping. That would be very nice. Okay, we got the spinning. Go on, look up the actual name of this spinning wheel. Oh, okay. Well, we got a cursor. This is going so slowly. Okay, I feel like someone might have taken the RAM out of this by some crazy chance. Either that or the battery isn't holding a charge thing, might be taking its toll. And that toll might be way too much, because, I've never seen a Mac this slow running off of just the MagSafe charger. I have the original 17-inch MacBook Pro. It doesn't even run this slow off of only the charger, because its battery kind of went completely flat, so I have to run it off of just the charger, and it goes faster than this. Alright, cool. I think we're mostly here. We're in the utilities screen. It's still, the mouse itself is lagging. Actually, first thing I'm gonna check, go into terminal, give it a second for it to launch terminal. Most, basic application in this whole utilities thing. It might also just be that this thing really doesn't want to use a USB installer. I mean, the MacBook Pro was just fine with that. Alright, we got terminal. Okay, the keyboard is working. Okay, battery removed. Something's telling me the battery isn't working very well. That's nice. Is one of the other utilities system information? No. It's actually quite inconvenient. Let's see if I was right about the whole no hard drive in here thing. Okay, yeah, there's no hard drive in here. We got nothing. I mean, we have this. But I think I can assume that that's just what we're booted off of right now. Because if we go to startup disk, yeah, there's no other startup disk. It's just the one that we're currently on. So that's nice. I think I can assume, to the best of my knowledge, that the battery is the thing messing this up. I am going to shut it down. Okay. Unplug the installer, hope that works next time I try to use it. Unplug the charger. We're gonna go back into here, see if we can find the battery connector. Alright. Very convenient, I don't have to unscrew a bunch of screws, but also I would have liked at least one screw. Okay, let's see if we can find this battery connector, shall we? I've done absolutely no research, so I don't know what part of this is for the battery and what part of it isn't. I've done absolutely no research, so I don't know which one of these cables could be for the battery. If I had to assume, it would maybe be this one, because it looks like it's just going into a little battery module, but also the battery itself unscrews, so we're just gonna, unscrew the battery. Okay, here's our battery, it just kind of lifts up. Yeah, I was completely right about the connector, that's it. Does it just kind of, okay, yeah. It doesn't seem like it was very connected, just kind of slid out of there. So, now there's the whole battery. Here's a quick test, see if it'll boot faster if there's no battery at all attached and it's running off of MagSafe? Well, I plugged the MagSafe charger in and it is green, which is a good sign because that means that it's powering it and there's no battery detected. And that's exactly what I want it to happen. We will plug in the line installer, and we are going to do my really cool strategy of it's upside down, kind of. Okay, it booted in about the same time, or posted, whatever. It chimed. The USB was being read, okay. Yeah, I think the battery being entirely flat might be the culprit here. Because if this is also happening when the battery is removed, then the battery itself probably is the issue here. It doesn't look really swollen though. I would have thought if the battery was dead or something, it would just be all swollen up. No, it's, well, a little bit, but not really. It's not really all that swollen. It's not swollen enough to, well, like, push out all of the screws in the case at least. Oh, it's doing this again. Okay. Yeah, it's doing that again. Well then, I am just going to put the battery back in. Alright, that plug is like all the way in, so if this still boots really slow, then I think we have our culprit. Well, we kind of already had our culprit, but you know, we have our second culprit of, is the battery completely dead? I am going to screw in a couple screws. And these screws will just be to at least hold the battery in so it doesn't fall out. Let's see if I connected it correctly or if it for some reason needs all of its screws in. MagSafe, green, orange, okay. MagSafe is connected correctly. Put the line installer in there. The line installer is in there. Power it on. Yeah, it's still being very slow. So I think our battery might have just gone extremely flat. There we go, okay. Actually read the USB again. Actually, I'm gonna cut it off there because I want to try something different. Instead of line installer, how about we get the live Snow Leopard? This one isn't an installer, it just is already installed onto here. So let's see what we get. I think this one might work even less. Oh, wait, no. The light's blinking, okay. It might actually boot into the live Snow Leopard. If it does boot into it, it is going to be extremely slow. Okay, there it goes. It actually recognized it immediately. It seems like it's having a better time than it did with the line installer. It's weird. Oh, well, we got a cursor. Alright, yeah, I think it may have just, kind of hung there. USB is not reading anymore. Best I can get is a cursor. Yeah, no, it's not even powering off with the power button. Well, I think I'm gonna have to follow up this video with an upgrade video, but that was, diagnosing this MacBook Air. It may have been this, but it also may have been battery. It was the battery. I think I'm gonna have to put a new battery in it, but also a hard drive. So yeah, I will see you guys in the follow-up video, the whole, you know, SSD battery video, whenever that happens. Okay, new developments. I completely took out the battery. It's not in there at all, but I managed to actually get it, like, properly booted off of the Snow Leopard installed drive. There's still no hard drive in here, but yeah, the Mac is working, and it is booted off of just a USB right now. USB did just stop reading, which I'm kind of concerned about. Okay, there it goes. So yeah, we got it basically actually working. I will still be making a follow-up video when I end up getting a hard drive for this thing. The RAM is soldered on, so I can't do anything about that. It's soldered on there, but I will have to get a new battery so it'll, you know, actually run at a normal speed. But yeah, there's the update. I would put the battery back in to test something, but like it already said it was disconnected when it was connected, so well, actually I might just put the battery back in real quick just to test. Yeah, okay, the battery is just what's been slowing it down this much and preventing it from USB booting. The USBs aren't even starting to be read while it's on this with the battery plugged in. So yeah, we officially have our answer. The battery is just so entirely dead that it's actually causing it to not properly boot. So I will see you when I have a battery in another video. Cool, okay, yeah.